example, you were talking before about the World Social Forum, where you said that decisions are taken by consensus, where everyone has to agree. Well, I would argue that when we do things like that, it can become ineffective because it can take a long time for everyone to agree, versus
Not
if we
only,
take them by...
not only, sorry, but it's anti-democratic. Because
Mhm.
if you have a meeting of
Yes,
100 people and one does not agree,
exactly.
you cannot make an agreement.
Yes. So,
So it's anti-democratic.
exactly.
I
Mhm.
say, let us make a quorum of 80%, 85%, 90%, but you cannot have quorum of 100%. If we are afraid that we divide the movement, which was one of the concerns of Occupy Wall Street, they did not want to set up any spokesman, nothing, because they said, you are different people, different priority, different sensitivity. If we elect somebody, we will divide the movement. Okay, I say, let us make a 90% quorum so that you are sure that this represents 90% of the people. But why should it represent 100%? Who say that the movement should represent 100% of the people? The movement must represent the very, very large majority. But if you have few people who disagree, who cares? I mean, this is not democratic. So you see, this is what I see as a problem. And then I give you another example. As nobody can speak on behalf of the World Social Forum, because that means somebody is elected as a spokesperson, the World Social Forum has disappeared from media because we can never make any declaration on anything. Absurd, because I don't see who is going to make a declaration against the peace. I don't see who is going to make a declaration against the climate change. I mean, there are issues on which the movement is united. And then you can have maybe in the Me Too movement, some feminists who see things in a different way from some other feminists, but it does not make any sense that Me Too movement does not have this organized structure on which they can go to speak to the Congress of the United States and say, we want this because we represent this vision. And me too, or Black Lives Matter. There are not, there is no structure to negotiate with power. Now, it is totally naive and absurd to think that the system is not based on power and groups of power. It's totally absurd to think that the political parties do not respond to lobbies, to people with money who finance the election. It's totally absurd to ignore that the inequality comes from people who have money much beyond their need, but are not willing to give 1 cent of their money, unless for philanthropy, which is different because then you don't pay taxes, you put your money in philanthropy, you don't pay tax on that money, and you get a status. So I do not know. I find that we have reached the point where all we start to discuss, but then people accuse you of Leninism. And I am accused of Leninism because I want to organize some structure. Now, I would say that Lenin was not particularly important in structure, was important on the goal of revolution. And he organized the dictatorship of the proletariat to reach its goal. But he was not somebody who organized the dictatorship of proletariat for the dictatorship of proletariat. In other words, the organization was not his main goal. His main goal was the political action.
I